Hi guys, this is Gomez with another tarot review. This is the Vertigo tarot that we were fortunate to win at a Queenie Todd giveaway contest. That was so much fun. We're so appreciative of all we got, but we reviewed this one as the last one, but not the least at all. This art by Neil Gaiman is kind of very meaningful to us. His major work, The American Gods, speaks to us on many levels. It describes modern gods and their worlds, and Morticia and I think of ourselves as the two ravens, the ravens of Odin, Hugin and Munin. We even have those in our email to represent who we are. So this was not, I don't think of it as a random win. The world is not random, and the universe has patterns that are far from random many times, and I think this was a meaningful victory for us. And the tarot represents such patterns really well. And this here is, of course, like I said, by Neil Gaiman, inspired by the Sandman comics and its universe. The art is by Dave McKean. It's great abstract art, modern style, and all the instructions, explanations, they're done here nicely by Rachel Pollack, whom I knew from before. She is a major tarot lecturer, author of many tarot books, like the famous Degrees of Wisdom, the 78 Degrees of Wisdom to be precise. So I was very happy to get this deck, and it seemed like it's significant, like I said, because of the meaningful connection we formed on a personal level. The deck itself is also very nice. The cards arrived in this beautiful black bag and in this box. The deck itself, it starts with an interesting idea by Rachel Pollack. She makes the Fool to be basically a magician, and the magician to basically be a kind of a fool from one perspective. But that was not a random choice at all. Rachel Pollack knows what she's doing, and this is aligned with the Kabbalistic tradition, where the letters Aleph, that represents the Fool, and Bet, that represents the magician, can be occasionally interchanged in one of the levels of interpretation. So it also spoke to me. John Constantine was the Fool here, is the character that I knew best of all the other characters. So it also spoke to me nicely in the way he is represented here. He represents here the random forces, chaos and stuff like that. So it kind of goes back to how I started this video, saying how the world is not random. It is and it isn't. And to my mind, the replacement, making John Constantine here the Fool instead of the magician, is that kind of a thing where it is both meaningful on one level and random on another. So it is a very interesting interplay that I enjoyed, and Rachel Pollack played it really well. I would say that this deck is probably not, if you are serious about tarot specifically for its own sake and all the insights it can do, it's not necessarily a deck for beginners. You have to either know the characters, is how you get by, or else to be advanced enough to draw parallels between the cards, because it slightly it kind of dims the traditional associations of the Rider-Waite system. They're there, but you have to look for them to find them, those connections, to find them on the global level. And that in itself speaks to me because I have so many decks, but it might not to everyone. So those of you who are looking at it just from the pure tarot perspective, you should be aware that you should be probably middle to advanced to figure it out. But with that said, I really like it for myself. It is a friendly deck, it has great artwork, and here we will show you some of the major arcana. Incidentally, I suspect that this magician card probably connects to the death card later on based on visual parallels, and those of you who like exercises can figure out why, I'm sure. Every card here is of course based on one of the characters, which is very nice. I like those thematic decks, they always speak to me. Dark, properly gothic, modern, very nice, with a sprinkling of familiar characters from mythology like Persephone. I think this deck satisfies many requirements and would suit many tastes. It definitely suits mine. The booklet here is very thorough that Rachel Pollack wrote. It would explain all the connections far better than I could, and it goes into detail, so I highly recommend reading it. This is not the case where the regular simpler booklet would be enough probably, especially if you're a beginner. You might need to read instructions carefully. But if you just enjoy an artwork for its own sake, as I do sometimes, then I just look at those cards and I just get excited from all the insights and connections. It's really fun. And we got back to the beginning of the major arcana, so now a quick follow-up flip through of the minor arcana. So even if you cannot see all the details here, I think you can tell at least that the tones generally are really nice, precise, and evocative. So we have gone through the minor arcana now too. The number of the cards is traditional. Again, going back to the booklet, it's pretty thick here. It gives the overview of the tarot history, the different French occultists like the Gobelin who contributed to it, the Kabbalistic outlook, the metaphysical outlook about the city of Fez, where supposedly all the brothers of the Light Order connected and recovered all teachings of Atlantis. So this really connects on several levels to me personally, and I think it would make a lot of sense for you guys to read it when you want in-depth instructions. It goes into every character, it goes into tarot in general, how to interpret the significance, like everything. So very satisfying. And even though it's the Vertigo Tarot, I now think of it as the Queenie Todd Tarot because that's how we got it. So thank you, Queenie, it was really nice. And this has been a quick flip through of the Vertigo Tarot by Neil Gaiman and Rachel Pollack and David McKean from Gomez of the Jekyllhydeclub. Until next time.